Hi everyone, I wanted to make a quick little video to give you some pointers based on the sound and sense assignment. So the first thing is titles. So titles is sort of two-part. Your title and the title of the text. Okay, so your title. It should allude to the topic. So, for example, you don't want a title that says Hamlet or Hamlet essay. Why? Because you didn't write Hamlet. And so that is a terrible choice. Also, Hamlet essay doesn't tell me really anything about what you're writing about. Instead, you need a specific topic. So, if you're talking about the poem Mariana, then you might say something as simple as sound devices in Mariana. That is an okay title. It's not perfect, but at least it's better than Mariana or, U2A1 Mariana. Better would even be something that connected you to the theme of the poem or, the theme of your own essay. So it could be something like sound and sorrow. Sound devices in Mariana. Now, you notice that this one is just off the top of my head, but you've got an actual sound device, alliteration being used in your title. You might even take out sound and sorrow and then put Mariana, because that alludes enough to what you're talking about. Also, sorrow talks about the theme. You have alliteration, which is an actual sound device, and you have the name of the poem. That's a good title. Sometimes you have to mess around with them a little bit, but please don't just put Mariana down. That is really not a very good title. I had a student years ago who went on to English at the university and said that one of her professors said on the first day something like, "You will know, I can tell if it's an A paper by the title." Now, I think that that's going a bit too far, but certainly if you can come up with a good title, it demonstrates to your reader that you know what you're talking about. The other thing I want to talk about titles is that short works, like a poem, are in quotation marks. Long works, like a play, are either underlined or they're in italics. So I'm just going to write it, and that's like italics. The reason you underline something is because it's very hard to handwrite in italics. But if you're typing, it should be italics. So a short work, quotation marks, a long work, in italics. Now, sometimes it's not always a poem, because a really long poem like Paradise Lost by Milton is a very long poem. It would be, because it's a longer work, it would be italicized. So that is the first thing that I want to talk to you about. I also want to say a little bit about finishing your thoughts. Oops. Oh my. It just got complicated. Finishing your thoughts. For some of you, I've made comments like, don't make the reader do the work. That means that I know what alliteration is, or I can I can pick out the assonants or the consonants in something, but I shouldn't have to. My own knowledge doesn't make your essays better, if you get what I mean. So you should, if you're talking about assonants, say which letters make that up, or consonants, like which consonants are being repeated. Alliteration, what letter is being used, because I can recognize alliteration, but you want to be the one who's showing me you know it. You don't want to throw it out there and then sort of have me guess. Don't make reader do the thinking. If you can kind of think about that when you're writing, you're going to find that your writing improves greatly. So that's what I mean by finish your thoughts. I usually know where you're going with something, but you want to make sure that you have finished your own thoughts, because an essay is you demonstrating to your reader that you know what you're talking about, right? Not so much a challenge for the reader to figure out what you're talking about. So finishing your thoughts. And the last one is not to make an assertion without giving evidence. So don't assert an idea without evidence from the text. So that means don't say something like the author uses rhyme without saying something like, I would prefer that to be a colon there if I was making, even though this isn't a full sentence. For example, and then give a quotation from the text. That is the best way to make your point.